Okay, thank you, Mr. Danel, for answering a few questions of ours. So first, how did you find the debate?
I found today's debate to be very successful. In fact, I think the core topics of corporate governance were well brought out, quite a bit of insights. And I think it helped a lot that there was a prior structure to the conversation, and we were able to, dig into the finer details of not only what in broad terms is good governance, but what does it mean for microfinance institutions, and also realize that this is still a very green and very diverse field in which probably cookie-cutter approach still don't apply. I think the institutional working group on governance is something that's sorely needed in the industry in terms of just making awareness and putting forward good governance principles, not codes, because again, I think that each situation, each country might differ a bit, but at least principles of the very basic things that need to be in place in any institution to make sure that all stakeholders are well represented, that decisions are made the right way, and that the follow-up on those decisions, people are held accountable. So I think this is something that's core in the microfinance industry because it's now growing. Now, what we want to do with this, I guess, is to promote good practices. We don't have control about the fact that in the future, just as in the past, some microfinance institutions might get themselves into big trouble because of lack of good governance. That's going to happen. Some of them are going to fail because of this. But the whole goal is that those would be the exceptions and not the rules, so that the industry will prevail. Individual institutions or firms might undergo different circumstances, but that as an industry, we have high standards of governance, and to an extent, we hold ourselves accountable to those standards.
Final question: how do you feel about the situation of SKS at the moment?
My view on the SKS situation today, I think it has a lot more positive angles than probably what we can see today. Clearly, it's an institution that has been very successful in growing, and it's serving a very large market in India with very specific products, good customer service and good customer products. The fact that they're able to tap into the financial markets, again, I think it proves that it's one model that can help bring scale to industries where scale is lacking. Now, that doesn't mean that things are going to change one way or the other. I think what often happens with these discussions, and it happened when the IPO of Compartamos as well, is people are just concerned. And I think I understand the concerns about, will investor interest override all other stakeholders' interest, including the clients? And what I think it's interesting is SKS has been public only a few weeks. And of course, I expect them to hold true to their mission and to keep growing and to keep the same balance that they've had between shareholders or stakeholders. But I think what's interesting about the case of Compartamos is we've been public 3.5 years. And when you look at the facts, a lot of the presumptions and a lot of the concerns of people, I think, were not well placed. Interest rates are still coming down. Profitability is still above average, but more moderated. Growth has come to 180%. More products were, in the whole country. So a lot of issues that come back again. We need to see the markets as a means to an end, not an end itself. And I think SKS shares that. It sees the market as a means to an end, which is scale. And again, the real risk for mission drift, mission drift or the risk for mission drift doesn't come to SKS or Compartamos once they go public. It was in SKS and Compartamos from day one, because you always have different stakeholders. You always have different goals from stakeholders, and it is precisely the ability to have those coincide and have people vouch for the same mission that makes an institution successful. But investors are not the only ones that can have an institution drift. Donors can have the same effect. Management, even clients can bring in mission drift. And I think that's always a risk. It's a risk from day one, and it'll be a risk till the last day. And you just have to keep up with the challenge and manage and be faithful to what you were born for.
Okay, thanks a lot.